What do you say, everybody? 14 Guitars here. I called this video the Allegra tapes because I started taking Allegra because I was having some rashes in various parts of my body. Unexpected at 63 years old. I never had this, and my the dermatologist said she thought it was probably what is that? I can't even think of the word. It's a common thing that people get that just pops up, and there's nothing you can do about it. It's not related to any kind of allergy. But to test that, you take an antihistamine, and so I started taking Allegra. And then I went on this stupid ride at Manchester and had a terrible time. I mean, I was weak, I was whiny, and my brain didn't work. If you can stand to watch this, you'll see my brain doesn't work. I can't remember anything. So just after a few days, I got on this Allegra, on this antihistamine, not drowsy, but oh my gosh, the crazy brain fog. I've lost my ability to speak and remember words that are just so common. I was trying to remember motorcycle sag. I mean, I talk about sag all the time. Anyway, so I really wasn't going to post this, but I'm going to post it anyway because it was it's a good trail report. And maybe I said a couple of things during the ride that made sense, might be of some interest or some good background noise. But I mean, look what it did to my hair. Look what that Allegra did to my hair. No, the Allegra didn't do that. I just didn't take a shower yet today. And I did take a shower late last night, and when I go to sleep, my hair just sticks straight up because I'm laying on my back. But anyway, hope you liked the video. I hated the ride, but and I really wasn't going to post it, but I thought, hey man, you made it. You made the video. You made the ride. Let's just post the video. It's on my KX250F, and forgive me for all the whining and wah-wah on this video, and I'll do better next time. Take care. If you like my videos, please thumbs up. And if you would, please consider subscribing. I sure would appreciate it if you subscribed. I'm at 199 subscribers, and if I get to 200, that's going to be kind of cool. 200. Who'd have thought anybody would care about 200 subscribers? Well, I do. Thank you much. Y'all take care. Bye-bye. What do you say, everybody? 14 Guitars here. We got the green machine on the back. We are on our way to Manchester OHV. We got some very nicely groomed trails up there. The blue and the red trails were groomed by none other than Chris and Stephanie and Will, until Will hit a deer and got disabled. But anyway, you know, his car disabled. You know, they did a fantastic job. The blue trail, they dragged it 3 times with the harrow and raked it and did all of the things that they do. So the blue trail's fantastic. I rode it once about a week ago. And the red trail, they pulled the harrow twice on. Typically they would do it 3 times, but it was already much better when I rode it, and I think they'd only pulled it 1 time at that time, so I'm really looking forward to it. So the green machine back here is the KX250F, the 4-stroke, which I seldom ride. Why do I seldom ride it? Because a 2-stroke is so much fun, right? A YZ250 with over 45 horsepower, let's say 46 horsepower. Some people say more. It really depends. Anywhere in the range of mid-40s in a 220-pound package is pretty awesome. And that's a 220-pound package full of gas. Oh, speaking of gas, I got to stop and put some gas in this bike before I run out of gas in the woods. So I'm going to pull into the gas station here and continue. But anyway, we'll get to the video here shortly. I hope it's a great time, and I hope you all have had a chance to ride. Appreciate y'all very much, and look forward to getting this video out to you without too much delay. I'll do my best to get it out as quickly as possible. Thank you much. God bless you. Y'all have a great day. Bye-bye. Oh, it's Friday. I think it's the 29th, whatever Friday is. Take care. Bye. What do you say, folks? 14 Guitars here. Here we are at Manchester OHV Cycle Trail near Pineville, South Carolina. We're actually in, the dark works better. We're actually in just to the west of I-95. After you cross the first long bridge over one of the lakes here, I think is Lake Marion. I guess that's the bridge between the 2 lakes, I'm not sure. Anyway, you come north on 95 till you cross a long bridge over the lakes, make the very first right, go left under the bridge, 1 more left, and in 15 miles you're here. My poor little KX250, I haven't ridden it in so long, it literally took me 20 minutes to get it started. Maybe longer. It was a bear. I had to do the procedure where you flood it and then you unflood it, and oh, it was just a mess. She finally started when I turned the choke off, gave it full fuel, and then she started. So I sent my wife a text 30 minutes ago, said I was heading into the woods. What we're going to do this morning, or this evening, it's the 28th of March. What is this, the 4th time I've ridden in 3 weeks? That's got to be a record almost for me. I'm going to ride this little thing here and film it. I do this as a warm-up, but I usually don't film it. But this is what I call the football field of whoop-de-doos. And then there's a little track over there, and then there's this kid's track. So I'm going to ride that as a warm-up, nice and slow. And I'm going to ride the blue trail a couple of times. You might know from my last video that Chris and Stephanie and Will groomed the blue and the red here at Manchester, and they're fantastic. I mean, the blue is a work of art. They were only able to pull twice on the red, pull their rake, but they pulled it 3 times on the blue. And I think I'm pretty sure I did my fastest lap ever on the blue. You know, I'm not a fast rider, but fast for me. I'm a mediocre 63-year-old rider. So anyway, let's go for a little ride here. We'll do this little warm-up. I let the bike go and warm up just to make it easier to start. I like to keep it idling around 2150. I think the spec is 2000 to 21. 2150 makes it a little easier to start. So let's just ride this little warm-up, and so you can see, I want you to see this football field of hopefully I've got a tubeless front tire, and I haven't ridden a tubeless system in a while, so of course it had no air in it. Now this suspension on this bike is pretty good. I will never figure out those little short bumps, how not to get hit in the booty. Not quite sure what you got to do. Maybe you got to pop a wheelie and land with the front wheel planted up against that. If anybody has a suggestion, I would appreciate it. So that was the football field of whoops. This is the little side track. And I just ride this as a warm-up because I don't like to take too much time warming up. And these big old crazy whoops here, look at these rollers. They're a good warm-up for your legs. Legs warmed up. As short as I ride them, it's almost like I warm them up to the point of being tired because they're not warmed up enough, and then going on a ride. So I'm going to go over this a couple times, just really slow. Then we'll hit the blue. I'm going to do like another sight lap on the blue. I hadn't ridden Manchester in months, and I've only ridden it one time after the grooming. I rode it once before the grooming and once after the grooming. So this is this little crazy track. I mean, if you want to jump little doubles here, I think that'd be wild. Personally, I have no experience at all jumping from like roller to roller, and I'm pretty sure I would probably hurt myself, or at least there's a big risk there trying to jump, say, from this roller over up onto here or something. But there are guys who just love this stuff and they're so good at it. Maybe one day I'll start working on that. I'm not sure at my age I really care enough about that to take the risk that would come with that. So anyway, so this is just really to show you, once again, I'm just showing you the little local track here, local sand track, that you can hit if you like for a warm-up or just for fun, you know, get together with a couple of friends and maybe race. on this little track. I know the anytime I come here and there's some really good riders coming out here to warm up for a big cross-country race or something like that, they hit this thing, they just murder this trail here. So it must be really fun if you know what you're doing. For me, I'm pretty cautious on it. Definitely I think I might make it a goal to learn how to just jump between a couple rollers and maybe just start on a roller that lands on something flat and then work my way up distance wise. Maybe try that. See. All right, so let's hit our first lap on the blue, and then we'll do a second lap on the blue, and then decide what else to do. But a couple laps on the blue today. It has been a while, like I said, since I've been on this bike. It's been several months. It could be 6 months, I'm not really sure. I'll have to look at my videos. So far feels pretty good. It's a little light in the front end. I've got 11 psi on the M59 in front and about 9 on the paddle tires back. I did just ride 3 days ago, and being not used to riding every couple days, still recovering from that ride. So maybe between the next two I'll go 4 or 5 days in between, just kind of warm up, recover a little better. I'm still having, you know, I haven't been back on the bike much after my very busy year of traveling for work last year, at the end of last year, the beginning of this year, and then 10 days out of the country surfing. So I still got that, you know, really sore forearms from gripping the bike. It takes time to stretch those muscles and the myelin sheath and all of the other tissue associated with articulation of your wrists. Remember, your forearms control your grip. All that muscle that your Popeye forearms, that's grip strength. And if you haven't ridden the bike in a while, you tend to grip tighter than you need to, instead of just gripping with your legs. And it takes a while to that part of your body to get used to riding. I'm really uncomfortable on my 4-stroke for some reason. I guess it's just been so long compared to my little 2-stroke. Even though the 2-stroke has, you know, 10 more horsepower and probably 40% more torque. But of course it makes that torque and horsepower at a higher RPM. So this bike has a little more torque, I think, a little down low. Of course, down low for it. A 2-stroke, down low for it is like below 6,000. 4-stroke, this thing will go up, I think the rim line is like 12,000 RPM or something. It's really crazy that the 4-stroke actually has a higher RPM max, you know, higher limit on RPM than 2-strokes. It just tells you how well these modern bikes are designed and how far advanced they've gotten. There's no way when I was a kid you'd be running a 4-stroke, even say I think probably above 8,000. They would just break apart. Over titanium valves or modern steels, super lightweight pistons. Pistons much shorter, much better machining techniques. so that you can get better fit and finish right out of the factory. And these race bikes are really quite incredible right from the factory. If we truly are riding race quality motorcycles right out of the box. The biggest thing you got to fix is adjust, I would say, not fix, adjust, is your suspension. And if you're the right weight, based on the engineer's design criteria, you don't need new springs. If you are going to take a motocross bike into the woods, you generally benefit a lot from a revalve of the suspension. The valving on a motocross bike is meant for very different conditions than a trail riding motorcycle. I definitely got tuckered out trying to start the bike. I will post maybe a photograph of my heart rate as I was going through the starting, kicking the bike over and over and over on scratch with zero warm-up. Your heart rate's going to skyrocket. Your body hasn't had time for all the arteries and the walls of your arteries and veins to open up. And so you're doing a lot of hard work under the hardest condition for your heart, meaning no warm up at all. Once your body's warmed up, it's physically easier for your heart to move blood. And also, the more blood you get to your muscles, the more energy they have to work. But also, the more blood flow they have to get rid of the waste products that are made when your muscles are working hard. One big difference between today and say the 25th is it's much drier. It hasn't rained in about a week, I'd say. So what still had some moisture under the skin, shall we say, last time is a lot drier on the surface now. The dry layer is a good bit thicker. Whereas after a rain, even a few days, a couple inches down, you'll still have moisture on the trail, and that dirt will be super nice, high traction, really make your bike perform well. After that start up and just a couple days recovery, and I'm just content right now to just ride this easy. Why did I take the KX 4-stroke? Only because I didn't have any fuel on hand for my 2-stroke. I would have had to go, I like to run ethanol-free 90 or 91 octane in my 2-stroke, and that's a longer ride than I wanted to take today to get fuel. There's a lot of marine fuel in Charleston, but the ones that I go to are a little further away from my office than I wanted to go. Because it's a Friday, and I wanted to get the heck out the door to avoid that Friday traffic that comes up Highway 26 and then goes north or south on 95. If you're not out the door by 3:30, it can be a real challenge. To back off my rebound a little bit on the shock on this bike. I haven't changed suspension on this bike in a long time. I haven't even adjusted the clickers. It's kind of set yet. It's pretty good everywhere. But yeah, I think probably got just a bit. Either the rebound's a little high or my damping is a little low. Probably the second one. My damping is just a little low. So if you increase rebound damping, the bike is not as quick to push the back wheel down. You want the back wheel to go down fast enough to use the traffic if you're popping over the at all. You don't want to feel like it's trying to kick you over the handlebars. So, I mean, the solution for that is to get on your feet, right, and absorb the bump. Let the bike move a bit underneath you. I can already feel it getting easier to ride as my body warms up. But yeah, just then the bike was a little bit slingshotty over a simple little whoop-a-dig. You got to keep it just a little gas on the backside of a whoop, and that way as you're coming up the top of the whoop, you don't tend to go over the bars, right? The worst thing you can do, right, is to lean back, going over a bump, and slow down. It's going to slingshot you over the front. It's literally just the opposite. You might think by leaning back, right, you keep the front end up, but it's the opposite. The change in mass kicks the front end down, the rear end up, and it pushes you toward the handlebar. Yeah, I just don't have the confidence in the corners with this bike that I do with my YZ. But I'd have to ride the YZ in these conditions to really be able to tell if it has anything to do with the bike or if it's these dry, slippery, snotty conditions on the corners. I've been listening to some really cool podcasts lately. One of my favorites is called The Rest is History. It's a couple of British guys. I've talked about them before. Right now, they're talking about the Norman conquest of England and the build-up to the Battle of 1066. And I had absolutely no interest in such things when I was younger. But now, for some reason, reading about and hearing about real life, right? Life and death decisions, the change of nations and populations over time, those things have suddenly, for some reason, as I've gotten older, become much more interesting. And these guys are both very well-known authors, and they read essentially these stories of history. They work really well together. You know, They complement one another really well. They know the rule of never saying no. You know, if your partner says something, even if it's controversial, you might say, that's definitely possible, or definitely in some cases that's true. You don't say, that is just not right. You compliment the other person's speech, and by compliment I don't mean you pay them a compliment saying, you know, you're good or you're smart. Whatever you say, you make what they say complimentary. Some of you guys not riding hard today. How y'all doing? They'll probably catch me here in a little bit. Y'all who know me know I'm riding pretty slow even for me. One thing about how I've said it before though, is they're stopped. So unless they get on the bike quickly, even if at a moderate pace, I can get way past where they are. I've always said if you're going to race, even against yourself, don't stop if you can help it. Even if you ride at 50%, you'll do so much better. Remember we talked about, let's do the math real quick. You're riding, you're going to either stop for 5 minutes, or you're going to ride 50% for 5 minutes. Okay, let's say you go 50% for 5 minutes, and you would have gone at 50%. Let's say you go five units through the woods instead of 10, because you're riding half speed, right? Or let's just say what it is. You've gone half the distance in the same amount of time for 5 minutes. Now, to make up half the distance in the same amount of time of someone, if you stop for 5 minutes, then when you get back on the bike, the guy is already half as far as you would have gotten if you would have ridden those 10 minutes, those 5 minutes. So if you would have continued to ride full speed at 5 minutes, I know there's a better way to explain it. You can plug math in and all that. I guess the bottom line, the easiest way to say it is it's very hard to catch up to somebody after you've been stopped. Here we go. Let's say you would go 10, you would have gone 10 miles at 100%, but you got tired, but you didn't stop. You went 5 miles. You rode 50% speed. And let's just make it easy and say it took you 10 minutes to go 5 miles. All right? Now the guy behind you, let's say he's as fast as you, and he can go 10 miles in 10 minutes, but he stopped for 5 minutes instead of riding like you did. So even though you're only riding 5 miles at 50% speed, you're 5 miles ahead of him when he gets back on the bike. So for him to catch up to you in 10 minutes, he can't go 10 miles an hour, which is his fastest speed. He has to go 15 miles an hour to catch you in 10 minutes, which is faster than he can ride at 100%. Let's assume at 100%, he's actually taking it a little bit easy. He's going 10% slower than he really can go. he really can go at 110%, 11 miles an hour. So he starts at 11 miles an hour with you moving away from him now at 10 miles an hour, but you're already 5 miles in front of him. He's only gaining 1 mile every hour, right? He's only gaining 1 mile every hour. It would take 5 hours at 110% to make up the difference to catch you. And it was 40 miles. 3 rides before that were only 20 miles each. So it was a pretty taxing ride, even though Wamba is easier to ride than here. And I think 3 days is not enough to get caught up. It's enough to get caught up and ride, but not to put in any kind of good laps. Right. I actually came here hoping I would set some kind of speed record on the blue. I'm just not feeling that at all. Not at all. Stop, drink a little water, and maybe do the blue again, or possibly the red. I haven't decided. Whew. Let me get a little water. It's also much hotter. It's 82 degrees today instead of 61, and heat is a huge thief. Of energy. Yeah, it was so hard to start the bike. I was thinking that my kill switch was broken. And I was banging on that and trying everything. All right. Whew, yeah, I'm definitely hot. Woo. All right, let's get a little bit of water, cool off just a minute, and then we'll go again. I'll definitely dump a little water on my head, under my helmet, and get my armor wet. Here we go. Still feels good. All right, I'm just going to ride the green and the red. We're not setting any records on the blue today. Oh my God. Pissed at me for not riding it. cut the trail. Gotta get back used to the behavior of the KX on these looks. First time I ever rode Manchester, it was on this bike. It was a wake-up call for even moderately deep, closely spaced whoop-de-doos. You know, these are not severe, but look at this. They are enough. I'm definitely on the edge of getting bucked off. If my legs were a half inch shorter, I probably couldn't do that. That's tapping me on the booty. That doesn't happen on the YZ. It doesn't help that I haven't changed the fluid in my rear shock, I think, ever. 2011 shock. I'm not sure if factory connection did anything to the shock. You know, they did the forks, but and I've serviced the forks several times. Actually, I recently did, you know, maintenance on the forks on both my bikes, replaced them, put new seals and fluid, etc. Part of the wood smells really good. Kind of a perfumey. Something's blooming that smells good. I don't know what it is. Almost smells like a nice cologne. There's a couple guys out riding today. Maybe they're wearing cologne, but they haven't been on this part of the trail for at least 20 minutes, so that's probably not it. The geometry is a little different on this bike and the YZ. The most comfortable position, it's a little different on each of these two bikes. And if you're not swapping back and forth regularly, it takes a little bit to figure out, relearn the best position, and also relearn, you know, what gears work well with this bike. They're both 5 speeds, but their performance is different, of course. So right now, hitting the red as well. It's just a matter of getting a real good workout before the weekend. I got to work this weekend, and I won't be doing much moving around. So I keep my YZ in fifth a lot of the time. Very different performance off the throttle in fifth and in say third. I think I've been riding with the KX here fairly low gears compared to what I normally ride it at when I ride it a little more often. That also might explain some more challenging handling. Stephanie and Will working on this red trail. This thing had some brutal whoop-de-doos. You know, not brutal, had some difficult, but just making it less of a smooth, fast ride. More of a physical ride. And the extremes, they've knocked the extremes part of that down. What is it? Something hammer shifter. And I think I went back to the standard stock stock shifter on the YZ. As my Ford shifter was catching on my boot and it was a little loose. And the smaller shifter actually works better for me now. Small stock shifter. It's got, you know, it's got a smaller head on it, and it's just, you don't need a big old shifter sticking out. As long as your boot can remember where it is, it's not that hard to hit. I can feel this one. I'm catching it on my boot a little bit. Again, it's something you can get used to and work around. But after riding with that other one, on the YZ, the stock small one, smooth. It's small, it's smooth. Doesn't stick out very far, but I can still reach it. And I would say a shifter should only be as big as necessary to shift when you want to shift, and no bigger. Anything bigger than that just causes problems that you don't need to have. Alright, visor back down. This time of day, it's, you know, getting towards sunset. Not there yet, but it's still not summer yet, or spring even, I think. I'm not sure. Maybe we're just into spring. But this time of year, the sun stays really low on the horizon, longer than in summer. In summer, the angle that the sun comes down is pretty steep, right? It's way above you, and then it's below the horizon. In winter, the angle between the sun and the horizon is lower all day long. Summer, the angle between the sun and the horizon is higher all day long. So imagine, as the sun comes down, it's going to be in your eyes longer in winter than in summer. And we can take that to an extreme, right? Another thought experiment. Imagine if the sun never set, like it does in Alaska. It just rises slightly above the sometimes in the year, slightly above the horizon, stays just above it all day long. So if you're driving toward the sun, any time of day, it's right in your eyes. Let's say on the equator, the sun is directly overhead almost all day long, and only low enough to shine in your eyes if you're looking horizontally for a very short time, right at sunrise and sunset. The rest of the time it's up there, you know, it's higher up. You know, instead of moving like this, it moves way over your head, out of your sight, below, you know, above the shielding of your visor. We're still the time. That's why, you know, I've said before, in winter you might need to wear, you know, goggles that are tinted. It's just because the sun is in your eyes longer for more, you know, for more time at sunset, as it approaches sunset. It's already at a low angle crossing over the sky. We're into this little ride. I'd say probably legs and lower back are still the things that take the longest to recover from right now for me, but I think it's just because we have been riding, and we especially have been riding whoop-de-doos. Get those things warmed up and see whether it can come again, move somewhere else that gets more tired, like your forearms or your grip, or something like that. Woo! pushing. I dug that front end in. I've been for a while. It just means I'm tired of I've been for a while. Definitely gonna soften up the suspension on this bike and get that shock oil serviced. Something's dead. Ugh, nasty. Whew. I've seen lots and lots of deer along the road. Oh man. Oh, that's strong. So lots and lots of deer along the road on the way up. I think it's a good year for deer and turkey. Something about that cold winter, maybe, you know, less parasites that hurt the chicks and the fawns. Pretty good year for deer. More turkeys than I've seen in a while the last few years. They really went down for a while. Way down. Turkey especially. And not sure what the cause was. But maybe hot, you know, warm winters. A bunch of parasites harm the chicks of the poults when they hatch. I think they're called poults, I'm not sure. Probably the same as a chicken. Baby chicken is a poult. Or a chick. Now I'm confused because I call baby chickens chicks. And I called little poultry poults. Both right. Maybe the chick is right after it's born. Yeah, that front end I think is too stiff. It's causing my bike to knife into the curb a little bit. sag. I haven't checked sag in quite a while on this bike. It could be way off. For all I know. I don't think sag changed a lot without you changing something, but I don't know for sure. I have checked. I've verified. Slow in sand, both of those corners. My legs are shot, y'all. I've got a venison burrito in the truck, and that's a pretty good incentive to get to the truck. Blister where my thumb hits the grip stop, you know, on the inside of the grip toward the bars, the center of the bars, and that hasn't happened to me in a while. Being tired to change you from a adequate rider back into a coupe. Squid. Oh man. What a spectacular day for a ride. What a beautiful place. Blue skies and cotton candy clouds. Not too hot, like 78 degrees. Little breeze. A little KX. Purring like a kitten. Get some exercise. Challenge the body a little bit. Fitness. out home. The road's on our right. Less than half a mile. And we're done. Try to stay right there. Try not to make that left. Check out that heart rate. Whew. All right, folks. Thumbs up, subscribe if you can. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Some days the magic works and some days it doesn't. It's just happy to ride.